Hello, guys. We're going to continue with chapter 3, which is lesson 3.4. It is the Supreme Court cases every teen should know. What is the objective? The student will be able to use text evidence to identify central idea and details of a text. In the Bill of Rights, we read about the first 10 amendments of the U.S. Constitution. As we read Supreme Court cases every teen should know, we found out more about the rights, the First Amendment protects and how these rights are and freedoms apply to teenagers. Okay, so we're going to do the vocabulary. The first one, it is express. It is a verb. And the meaning, it is to say or show what you think or feel. An example, what do you do to express your creativity? I express my creativity by writing songs and poems about life. That is my example. You can do whatever you want. Violation, it is a noun. The meaning, an action that breaks a rule, law, or agreement. Example, what is one example of a violation of your school's rules? One example of a violation of our school rules, it is talking during class. So we're going to read the story. Supreme Court cases every teen should know. The First Amendment. Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of a religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof or abridging the freedom of speech, or of the press, or the right of the people peacefully to assemble, and to petition the government for a redress of grievances. For those of us on the outside, the U.S. Supreme Court can seem remote and mysterious. Its 9 justices are appointed for life and deliberate in secret. But the court holds a powerful influence over the course of the nation and over the lives of Americans, including teenagers. In a landmark 1967 case which concerned the arrest of a 15-year-old boy, the court ruled that teenagers have rights under the U.S. Constitution. In the decades since, the court has weighed in on a host of issues involve people under 18. I'm going to turn the page over. Holy guacamole. I almost knocked it over. Okay, so I'm going to adjust it so you guys can see the whole thing. Okay. It is Tinker versus Des Moines Independent School District. It happens in 1969. What was the issue? Freedom of speech at school. The bottom line, you have the right to express yourself up to a point. The background, in December 1965, John and Mary Beth Tinker and their friend Chris Eckert wore black and armbands to school in Des Moines, Iowa, to protest the war in Vietnam. The school officials told them to remove the armbands. When they refused, they were suspended with their parents and they sued the school district, claiming a violation of the First Amendment right of freedom of speech. Ruling, the Supreme Court cited sided with the students. The students and teachers don't share their constitutional rights to freedom of speech or expressions at the schoolhouse gate. That was the court said. In 1965, Mary Beth and John Tinker wore these, armbands to school to protest the war in Vietnam. So close reading, what is the key idea? Why were John and Mary Beth Tinker suspended from school? John and Mary Beth Tinker were suspended from school because they refused to take off their armbands. So, underline central idea and details. Underline a detail that tells why the students wore armbands. Whether they believed that their freedom of speech was violated when they were suspended. The students believed their freedom of speech was violated because they were not allowed to wear, the armbands to express their opinions about the Vietnam, war. It says, do you think students should or should not have freedom of speech in a school? And explains. Was my opinion, okay? You guys can write it down something completely different. I think students should, have freedom of speech in a school because sometimes, the way people choose to express themselves can be distracting. So I don't think, the kids, I believe that the kids can express themselves, of course, but either by they don't, violate any, somebody else's rights and is very, peaceful and is very, very respectful. Okay. So if you guys have any questions, we're going to continue, to read the story and the next, lesson. Okay. Have a good day, guys.